This episode of The World According to Mr. Bob is brought to you by Moonranger Productions. Looking for the perfect place to showcase your brand? At Moonranger Productions, we don't just produce great podcasts. We create immersive audio experiences that captivate audiences. Whether you're launching a new product, building brand awareness, or reaching a dedicated listener base, we can help you connect with engaged listeners from around the world who trust our content. Join with businesses that have taken their message to the next level with Moonranger Productions. Advertise with us, and let's make your brand shine. Visit moonrangerpro.com to get started today. And now, on with the show.
Papa! Hey, Papa, are you in here?
Yo, kiddo. I'm way in the back. Come on in. So, what's up with you?
I was wondering if you have a telescope I can borrow tonight.
Borrow a telescope? Well, of course you can. But what do you have going on?
Well, we learned in school today that our Earth is passing through the tail of the Taylor Swift comet, and I don't want to miss it.
No, it's not the Taylor Swift comet. It's called the Swift-Tuttle comet. Our Earth is indeed passing through the tail of that comet.
So, Tay-Tay won't be doing a flyby tonight?
No, I'm afraid not, kiddo.
But we will get to see shooting stars, won't we? I still think the telescope would be really cool. So, can I please borrow it?
Well, sure you can borrow it. Tonight's going to be an excellent night for watching shooting stars. But you won't even need the telescope. If the sky stays this clear, and you can get to a real dark spot, you should be able to see anywhere from 50 to, say, 70 shooting stars in an hour as we pass through the Perseid meteor belt that follows the comet.
Wow, excellent. I am so excited. I can't wait.
There's just one glitch. The best time to view the shower is when it's highest in the sky. That's usually around 3 a.m. I don't think your mother is going to be too keen with you being up that time of the night, especially on a school night.
You know, you're right. So what's a girl to do?
Well, I have an idea. Have you ever heard of a gentleman named Galileo?
Of course. Well, sorta. I think so.
Well, he's the gentleman from the 1600s that's credited with perfecting the telescope, amongst other things. I thought it might be fun to take a little excursion to go back and meet him.
That would be so cool. I would love to meet him. But how are we going to do that? Aren't we going to look a little out of place?
Funny you should ask. I have just installed an AI plugin to my walking stick time machine. This way, no matter what period in history we travel to, AI will dress us in the clothes of the day. It should allow us to blend in better.
You mean I could actually speak with Galileo?
Well, that's the plan. But I haven't tested it with two people, especially two going that far back in time. But what the heck? Let's give it a try. What do you say?
A road trip with free swag and a new pair of kicks. Papa, do you even have to ask? But we better hurry before my mom shows up. She said she'd pick me up here when she's done work.
Great. Then I'll set the time machine coordinates for 1604. Galileo has just returned from the Netherlands, where he met Hans Lippershey, who actually invented a crude telescope. Galileo has hopes to use it to study the heavens. Hold on.
You are listening to The World According to Mr. Bob, a historical fiction educational podcast based on true life events. Some sounds and language may be inappropriate. Listener discretion is advised.
Woo! I love that ride. It just tickles me all the way to my toes. Yo, check out these threads. Papa, you're wearing the pirate shirt from TV. That's hysterical.
Now, look at you with your long gown and the high collar. You look like you're portraying British royalty on Halloween.
Okay, Papa. Where exactly are we?
Well, it's 1610, and we are at the University of Padua in Italy. That middle-aged gentleman over there, that's Galileo. Come on, let's go introduce ourselves.
I am so lucky to have a spectacle maker right here in Padua to help me grind these new lenses.
Scusa, Signore Galileo. My name is Mr. Bob. And this is my granddaughter, Signorina McKinley.
Pleasure to meet you? But how?
Signore, we are here to talk to you about the telescope. We understand that by looking through your tube, we can see distant objects as if they were up close. Is that true?
That is correct, Mr. Bob. By using a series of lenses, I have been able to collect light from distant objects and focus it into a single concentrated point, which is what you see in my telescope. Signorina McKinley, look here.
Wow, that cow across the field looks so close, I could almost touch it. That's incredible.
Galileo, an invention of this magnitude should bring you and your family great wealth.
I sure hope so. My current university salary is so meager that I still have to rent rooms in my house to make ends meet. And I hate having strangers in my house when I'm not there. Maybe I'll just rent the entire place when I'm not using it. Hey, now there's an idea for a new business. I can offer visitors some fresh air, a clean bed, maybe a little something for breakfast. I can call it Galileo's place or something like that. Who knows? We'll see. Speaking of visitors, how did you two get in here?
We really must run. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck with the telescope.
Hurry, McKinley, grab my hand.
Okay, now, where are we?
We are in the audience at the Venetian Senate. Listen.
Galileo, it is with my honor as president of the University of Padua. I am pleased and thrilled to extend to you lifetime tenure and a doubling of your current salary.
Thank you, sir. For once in my life, I am speechless. But I promise to continue my work and research on the heavens and publish my findings.
Perfect. With your telescope that is 8 times more powerful than the naked eye, we expect great things from you and your telescope.
After that appointment, Galileo continued his research and found a way to improve his telescope by using lenses that he had specifically ground from the local spectacle maker's shop. Soon, he had an instrument that was 20 times more powerful than the original.
Excelente! Signore Pepe's lenses are perfection. Now I'll be able to better study the heavens and continue my research. Maybe even sell a couple telescopes to make some extra money.
So, did this invention finally bring him riches?
Well, not exactly. But the salary bump he got from the university finally afforded him the prestige to live the life of a well-to-do gentleman.
Now I can finally get all those strangers out of my house.
It sounds as if he had finally achieved the fame he craved and lived happily ever after.
Again, not exactly. But what do you say? You ready to go home? It's almost time for my dinner, and I'm starving. I'll tell you more about Galileo when we get home.
Yo, Papa, that re-entry never gets old. So, you have really piqued my curiosity. Was Galileo finally happy?
Yes and no. While at the university, he continued to build bigger and better telescopes, much more powerful than the original. With them, he was able to explore our galaxy and actually prove that the sun was the center of our solar system, and that all the planets revolved around it, not the Earth, as was the accepted belief of the day.
So, I guess that made him the hero.
Quite the opposite, little one. His beliefs violated the teachings of the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle, which were the accepted beliefs of the day. And as a result, he was accused of heresy by the Catholic Church.
Big deal, so he stays home on Sunday.
It was a big deal. At this time in history, the Catholic Church was very powerful, making the Pope almost godlike. So, what time is it? You got time for one more side trip before dinner?
Come on, Papa. I can't believe you even had to
I don't know, Signore Galileo. I'm not so sure.
Your Holiness Pope Urban VIII, trust me. I understand your reluctance to accept my writings. They totally contradict the long-accepted beliefs of Aristotle. But through my refinement of the telescope, I have been able to study the stars and planets and apply their movement to the tides of our oceans. I truly believe the sun is the center of our universe, and this earth of ours revolves around it.
Galileo, we have been friends for a very long time. Long before I ever thought about being Pope. And after reading all your papers, I tend to believe your theories. But I now have the Church to attend to. And as you know, your writings have already been panned by the Inquisition and declared to be heresy.
Sua Santita, Holy Father, my friend, what can I do?
Galileo, I have an idea. What if you published your theories of the universe as hypotheticals? You could talk about the Copernican universe with the sun being the center and all the planets revolving around it as strictly what-ifs.
That sounds like it could work. I will send my papers to the censors in Florence immediately.
Nothing works up an appetite like a little time travel, but you can't leave me hanging like this. What happened to Galileo?
So, Galileo took the Pope's advice, and in 1632 he published a, quote, discussion amongst three men. One who believed the sun was the center of the universe, one who believed that the earth was, and a third gentleman claiming to be impartial. He wrote it claiming to be neutral, but it was clear he was not. The earth centrist came across as a little weird doofus who kept getting caught in his own arguments.
So, did the scheme work? Did he finally convince the world that he was right and they were wrong?
Girl, you are going to get me in so much trouble with your mother, but come on. You have to go back and see for yourself how Galileo lived out his years.
Galileo, you have left me no choice. Your writings continue to criticize our accepted norms. You are upsetting the establishment here in Rome, and we have been very patient with you up until now. If you do not renounce your writings that the sun is the center of our universe, I will be forced to sentence you to a life of imprisonment.
Your Honor, under threat of arrest, I concede. I am too old to continue this fight. But I will never denounce my beliefs, and I can only hope that over time, the Inquisition will understand what I say as its truth in science, and therefore change its beliefs.
Well then, Galileo, I hereby sentence you to spend your remaining days under house arrest and order you not to have any visitors or have any of your works printed outside of Italy.
So, Galileo gave in. But he did it with his fingers crossed behind his back.
I knew it. They couldn't silence him.
Well, technically, he did spend his remaining days under house arrest. But he still had visitors who would smuggle his works to be printed outside of Italy.
Of course, he ignored them.
Of course. But by this time, Galileo was blind and in poor health. As it turns out, the church couldn't deny his writings and the truth in science any longer. So almost 100 years after his death, the church lifted its ban on most of his works. It then took them another 80 years until 1835 for the church to drop its opposition to Galileo's sun-centered theories. Can you imagine that? This country is starting its industrial revolution, and the church is still preaching that everything revolves around the earth.
McKinley-Ann, are you in there? It's dinner time. Come on, let's get home.
Ooh, that's my cue, Papa. I gotta go.
Remember, do not breathe a word of this to your mother. Pinky promise.
Love you, Papa. See you tomorrow after school.
The World According to Mr. Bob is produced by Bob Staniszewski and Adam Staniszewski. Recorded and mixed at Crooked Lane Sound in Cherry Hill, New Jersey by audio engineer and sound designer Adam Staniszewski. Episode number 2 of Season 3 was written by Bob Staniszewski and is titled The Telescope. It features Angelo Pinto as Galileo Galilei, Ashley Ranshaw as McKinley. Jim Lilly plays Pope Urban VII, and Jeffrey Levin is the judge. New this season is Mr. Bob's Instagram page. Go into the studio and watch highlights from a Mr. Bob voiceover recording session, and also see photos of the actual locations of where Mr. Bob's episodes take place. Find and follow The World According to Mr. Bob on Instagram. But don't forget about The World According to Mr. Bob Facebook page and YouTube channels. Subscribe to those as well. Mr. Bob's graphics were designed by J.R. Farrell at Promotional Graphics in Doylestown, Pennsylvania. Our video editor is Daniel Latch, at Dan the Latch on Instagram. The theme songs were created by Doug Maxwell and Ease Jammy Jams. For a full list of character and musical credits, please check out our website, theworldaccordingtomrbob.com. If you'd like to advertise or sponsor the show and reach thousands of Mr. Bob listeners worldwide, please email us at worldofmrbob@gmail.com. I'm Danielle Byrne, announcer extraordinaire. Thank you for listening, and please tune in and download the next exciting episode of The World According to Mr. Bob. This has been a Moon Ranger production.